Dear Libra, faithful seeker of balance and beauty, what if I told you that your name has already been printed on a one-way ticket? And that your entire reality is about to shift? This is not just a metaphor. This is a cosmic appointment. This is your spiritual boarding call. Welcome to Zodiac Whisper Tarot. I'm so honored you're here. And if this video has found you today, know this, it's not random. The universe doesn't make mistakes, and neither do divine timings. You didn't stumble upon this message by accident, you were guided here. Because something within you, something sacred and undeniable, is ready to break free. In the next few minutes, we'll dive into a rare and powerful reading that unveils the energy of irreversible change. The cards have spoken clearly. You are being asked to leave something behind. Entirely. Not temporarily. Not halfway. But completely, emotionally, spiritually, physically. You are being called into your next destiny. And that destiny begins with a sacred goodbye. Now, take a moment. Breathe with me. Feel that quiet, vibrating hum in your chest. That's your soul whispering, it's time. Time to release what no longer serves. Time to walk through the door that's opening for you and never look back. Libra, you've always been the one to keep the peace, to hold things together for everyone else. But today, the message is different. Today, the message is this: you are allowed to walk away from what's familiar if it's keeping you from what's divine. In the next 72 hours, something unexpected may stir your world, a conversation, a decision, a divine detour. You may feel a collapse of what once seemed secure. Don't resist it. That's the universe realigning your path. The old version of you, the one who settled, who waited, who compromised, is being laid to rest. And what rises from that ending is nothing short of miraculous. Before we continue, let me take a heartfelt moment to thank you. Thank you for being here. Every time you like, comment, subscribe, or share these messages, you're not just supporting this channel, you're stepping deeper into the sacred family of Zodiac Whisper Tarot. Your presence helps anchor this work into the world. Your energy shapes this space. Your belief in transformation makes it possible for others to believe too. And so, Libra, if something in your spirit already senses that this message is meant for you. If your intuition has been restless. If your dreams have been louder than usual. If your heart aches for a new beginning that you can't yet name. Then I invite you to stay until the very last second of this video. Because what the universe is about to reveal may be the confirmation you've been waiting your whole life to receive. Now, let me ask you this, Libra, what force brought you here today? What internal nudge, what sign, what impossible to ignore pull led you to this exact moment? Let's open this energetic portal together. Leave a comment below and write, I accept my one-way ticket. Or share your angel number of the day, perhaps 555, 111, or 777, whatever resonates with your soul's transition. Together, we're stepping through something sacred. And Libra, I promise, what waits for you on the other side will be more beautiful than you can imagine. Sometimes, Libra, the most powerful transformations begin not with chaos, but with a whisper, a quiet awareness that what you once called stable has never truly been safe. In the next few days, a subtle yet undeniable shift may occur, one that challenges the foundation of what you thought your life was built upon. You may notice a conversation that feels different, a truth you can no longer unsee, or a decision that suddenly feels inevitable. This is not punishment. This is alignment. The universe is orchestrating a necessary unraveling, because what was built on fear cannot hold what is meant for your higher freedom. The Tower, the Eight of Cups, and the Six of Swords work together like three sacred messengers. One breaks what's false, one walks away from what's heavy, and one carries you toward a calmer horizon. If you feel as though something is collapsing around you, remember it's not your downfall. It's your exodus. It's the release of illusions that kept you trapped in a version of peace that demanded your silence. Sometimes, the walls fall not to harm you, but to reveal that you were never meant to live inside them. When everything seems uncertain, it's easy to crave control. You may feel the temptation to rebuild the old structure quickly, to repair relationships, or to cling to your familiar routines. But true stability isn't found in predictability, it's born from authenticity. The Libra spirit was never designed to exist in cages, no matter how beautiful they appear. You are ruled by Venus, the planet of love, art, and harmony, but Venus also teaches discernment, courage to choose beauty that doesn't come at the cost of your peace. This week, the universe asks you to let go of the illusion of balance that comes from pleasing everyone else, and instead discover the divine balance that comes from honoring your own truth. You might wonder why certain relationships, jobs, or situations suddenly feel shaky or out of alignment. The reason isn't that you've failed, it's that your frequency has evolved. You've been praying, journaling, manifesting, asking for something more. And when the higher vibration arrives, the old world can no longer contain you. It begins to crumble so you can finally walk out of it. This is why spiritual growth often feels like loss at first. It's the soul's way of clearing the stage before a new act begins. Think of this as the pruning of a tree before the spring. When branches that no longer bear fruit are removed, the tree doesn't mourn them, it channels its energy into new blossoms. You are that tree, Libra. Every challenge, every ending, every uncomfortable revelation is creating space for the life you've been destined to live. The divine order doesn't rush. It rearranges things quietly, compassionately, with precision. And if you can trust that rhythm, you'll see that nothing falling apart is truly being lost, it's simply being replaced by something more real. During times like these, faith becomes your anchor. You don't need to understand the entire plan, you only need to take the next right step. Some people call this divine timing. Others call it trust. I simply call it grace. The kind of grace that meets you right where you are, in confusion, in surrender, and whispers, "You're still held." There's a beautiful reminder from the daily words of faith. Sometimes God doesn't calm the storm, He calms His child instead. Maybe that's exactly what's happening. Know you're learning to be steady within, no matter what shakes around you. So, if you find yourself staring at the pieces of what used to be, don't rush to rebuild them. Breathe. Let yourself feel the ground shift beneath your feet. It's not the end, it's the holy beginning of your true balance. Write in the comments below, "I see the truth." Say it out loud if you can. Claim it as your affirmation. Because the moment you acknowledge that what's falling was never yours to keep, you reclaim your freedom. And when you stand in that truth, Libra, the universe always responds with peace, with clarity, and with the promise of something beautifully new. There comes a time, Libra, when life itself becomes a journey rather than a destination, and right now, that journey is calling your name. The Six of Swords speaks not just of travel, but of transition, not merely of distance, but of release. You may soon find yourself packing boxes, changing locations, or walking away from a chapter that once felt like home. But understand this movement is not about escape. It is about evolution. When the universe invites you to step forward, it is never to take something away, it is to make space for what is waiting to begin. You might feel the quiet trembling of anticipation, that unmistakable sense that something bigger is unfolding behind the scenes. Maybe it's a job offer that arrives out of nowhere, a sudden urge to move, or the deep knowing that a connection has reached its natural end. It can feel bittersweet, even painful, to let go of the familiar. Yet every ending carries the seed of a higher beginning. The Six of Swords asks you to trust the waters that carry you. They are divinely guided. Even when the horizon looks hazy, the current knows the way. Libra, ruled by Venus, your heart longs for harmony and connection, but this journey will ask you to choose peace over comfort. The energies surrounding you are shifting from stagnation to flow. Think of this phase as your personal migration from survival to surrender, from holding on to letting go. It is the difference between staying where it is safe and sailing toward where your soul truly belongs. The air element that defines your sign helps you move with grace. Even when change feels heavy, your spirit was designed to float above the storm. If you've been feeling torn between staying and leaving, between loyalty and freedom, let this message be your confirmation. It's time to move. The universe rarely gives us loud answers. More often, it speaks in small signs, doors that close without warning, conversations that feel different, moments when the place you're in no longer feels like it fits. When these signals arrive, they're not rejections, they're redirections. The way forward may seem uncertain, but uncertainty is where the magic begins. The energy that once held you back now transforms into the wind beneath your wings. And if fear whispers that you're not ready, remember this: no one ever feels ready to step into the unknown. Faith is not about certainty, it's about courage. As I often remind my community at Zodiac Whisper Tarot, every great shift starts with a single yes. When you say yes to your journey, you align yourself with the unseen architecture of divine timing. Even in moments when you can't see what's ahead, you can still feel the guidance of grace through the right people, through small opportunities, through the still voice within that tells you to keep going. In daily life, we often pray for clarity or stability, not realizing that sometimes the answer comes as movement. God doesn't always deliver calm waters. Sometimes He gives you a boat and says, sail. Maybe that's what this moment is for you, the realization that you are meant to go, not because what you're leaving was wrong, but because what's coming is right. The act of leaving is not betrayal, it's obedience to your higher purpose. The true test of faith isn't standing still, it's walking forward while trusting that every step is held. So, Libra, as you feel the tides shifting beneath your feet, remember that this isn't the end of your story, it's the first chapter of the life you were born to live. Let this movement be your liberation. Let it be your healing. Let it be your proof that you can follow divine guidance without seeing the entire map. You don't need to know the whole plan, you just need to take the next right step. If this message resonates in your heart, take a moment to declare it below. Write, I am ready to go. By doing so, you're not just typing words, you're setting an intention, activating your energy, and signaling to the universe that you're open to what's next. Because the truth is, Libra, the moment you choose to leave behind what no longer honors your spirit, you won't be walking away from life, you'll be walking into it. Love, in its highest form, doesn't arrive to rescue you as it meets us at the intersection of readiness and alignment. As you move away from the life you've outgrown, Libra, you're also shifting into a frequency that was never accessible to you before. This is where things get beautifully interesting. Somewhere along this new energetic path, a presence begins to stir. Someone whose soul has been vibrating on a wavelength you're just now stepping into. And no, this isn't just another relationship, another warm body to fill a void. This is something deeper. This is the meeting point of destiny and divine timing, a soul agreement set long before you both were born into this lifetime. You may have sensed them in your dreams, felt them in your quiet moments, or even longed for a connection that your logical mind couldn't explain. That feeling wasn't fantasy, it was foresight. Because what the Two of Cups and the King of Pentacles often whisper when they appear together is this: someone is ready to match your growth, not your wounds. This person has been on their own journey of becoming, just as you have. And what kept you apart until now wasn't distance or timing, it was vibration. You hadn't yet stepped into the version of yourself who could hold a love like this. But now you are. This connection isn't about saving each other. It's about seeing each other clearly. It's not about completing you. It's about walking beside you, hand in hand, as you both build something neither of you could create alone. It will feel both ancient and brand new. Familiar and exhilarating. Grounded, yet expansive. There will be safety in their presence, not because there's no risk but because both of you will be anchored in truth. You won't need to pretend, perform, or diminish yourself to be loved. You'll simply be seen. What's even more powerful is that this love will not pull you away from your path, it will amplify it. Together, you will co-create. Not just a home or a future, but a purpose. Your love will have ripple effects, touching the lives of others around you, because when two people align in clarity and courage, the world takes notice. And yes, it might begin quietly. It might begin with a message, a chance encounter, or a sudden wave of knowing. But the moment it begins, everything changes. If you've been holding on to old love stories that kept you small, now is the time to release them. If you've been carrying someone else's idea of what love should look like, let it fall away. Love, real love, doesn't bind. It liberates. And this kind of love, the one written into your soul's blueprint, can only arrive when you're no longer trying to become who someone else wants you to be. As you prepare your heart, don't focus on searching. Focus on becoming. Because when you are aligned, love doesn't have to be chased, it finds you. And when it does, it arrives not as a whirlwind, but as a knowing. The kind that silences fear and makes space for peace. The kind that doesn't shout, "I'm here to fix you," but instead whispers, "I see you. Let's build something sacred together." Sometimes, the greatest act of faith isn't believing in love, it's making space for it before it arrives. Declutter your heart. Clear the energetic space. And above all, trust that if your soul is ready, so is theirs. Go ahead and declare it now. Type it in the comments, "I am ready for divine love." Let it be more than words. Let it be a signal, an activation, a lighthouse that guides what's meant for you toward the shores of your becoming. Because somewhere out there, Libra, someone is already on their way. And they're not looking for just anyone. They're looking for you. It's strange how endings often feel like punishment when, in truth, they are invitations. Libra, the Death card rarely means a literal ending. It's the divine signal that your old way of existing has reached its limit. You've outgrown your own skin. The life you once fought to preserve no longer fits the person you are becoming. That's why things have been slipping through your fingers, not because you're losing, but because your soul refuses to carry what cannot follow you into your next chapter. Change can look like loss when you're standing too close to it. The friendships that fade, the patterns that no longer soothe, the identities that no longer describe you, they all dissolve so that something more authentic can take root. The version of you who said yes out of fear, who dimmed their light to keep the peace, who swallowed truth to avoid conflict itself, is dying. And though it feels uncomfortable, even disorienting, it's also sacred. Because in the cosmic rhythm of life, destruction is never without purpose. It is the necessary soil from which rebirth grows. Think of a seed underground. In the darkness, it breaks apart before it blooms. The outer shell disintegrates, yet what remains inside becomes alive. That is the energy of death and the fool combined, an ending that births courage. You're not losing yourself, Libra. You're meeting the truest version of you for the first time. Every fear that rises right now isn't a sign you're going backward, it's a sign that you're stepping out of disguise. You might notice the universe removing certain people or habits from your orbit. At first, it may sting. But take comfort in this: what's meant for your higher timeline never leaves through loss, it leaves through completion. This period of shedding isn't cruelty. It's mercy. Imagine carrying a suitcase full of bricks onto an airplane meant to take you higher. The plane could never lift off until you release the weight. The same is true for your spirit. The universe doesn't take what you need, it takes what keeps you grounded in places you've already outgrown. And if you've been wondering why this process feels so heavy, it's because endings are emotional labor. You're not just releasing people or circumstances, you're releasing identities. But within every release lies resurrection. The Death card is the divine reset button, and the Fool is the courage to press it. Together, they form the energetic bridge between who you were and who you are called to be. Sometimes, the greatest act of faith isn't believing everything will stay the same, it's trusting that what replaces it will be better. Life, like the seasons, must turn. There's no eternal spring without winter. The law of attraction teaches that what you hold onto from fear can't bring you joy. Energy flows where faith grows. So when you say, "I let go," you're not surrendering to emptiness, you're surrendering to the possibility of something greater. In a way, this is how modern miracles unfold, not in flashes of light, but in the quiet courage to release. Every day you choose to stop repeating old stories, every time you say no to what drains you, you are performing a miracle of your own. You're allowing divine timing to do its work. You're allowing grace to breathe into your future. Even in a busy, uncertain world, faith isn't about escaping difficulty, it's about holding peace while everything changes around you. So, Libra, ask yourself gently, will you keep shrinking so others feel comfortable? Or will you expand so the world must adjust to your light? The choice is both terrifying and freeing, but one thing is certain: you can't stay the same. The doors you've outgrown are closing because new ones are already opening. Say it aloud: I accept the death of my old self. Not as a farewell, but as a declaration of freedom. Because the moment you do, life begins to bloom again, not in spite of the ending, but because of it. The moment you choose to release the old is the same moment the new begins to find you. And Libra, What's coming next is an entirely renewed version of your life. Not just in how it feels, but in how it functions. The Page of Pentacles and Wheel of Fortune appearing together signals a sacred reset across all pillars of your existence: spirit, money, love, and purpose. It's as if the universe has been quietly rearranging things behind the scenes, waiting for you to say yes to what has always been meant for you. This next opportunity may come wrapped in surprise. It may feel too good, too sudden, too aligned to believe. But that's exactly what makes it real. We often dismiss divine blessings because they don't arrive with the struggle we were conditioned to expect. Yet the most life-changing moments don't always scream. Sometimes they whisper. An email. A conversation. A gentle nudge. A door opens and the only question is whether you'll walk through it. You won't find this opportunity where you've been. It won't come from familiar people or predictable paths. It is being delivered to the version of you that is finally ready to say, "I'm not waiting to be chosen. I choose myself." That's where your energy must lead into claiming what's already circling you. Because the truth is, you've been ready longer than you realize. You've grown, healed, released, and yet the only thing left to do is to believe that it was all for something greater. This next chapter doesn't require you to be perfect. It requires you to be present. Your old doubts will whisper that you're not enough. But they only exist to protect your past, not your future. And your future is calling now. One of the most beautiful reminders I return to often comes from stories of real-life miracles, moments when ordinary people made small shifts and witnessed extraordinary change. Whether it was someone taking a new job they didn't feel qualified for, or accepting love they never thought they deserved, what they all had in common was one quiet, consistent choice: to believe they were ready. That same belief is what activates your miracle. That's not superstition. It's alignment. It's the energetic law that governs attraction. When you hold space for the blessing has room to arrive. As you prepare for this energetic renewal, I want to gently remind you that how you care for your physical body deeply impacts your ability to receive. Your mind, your emotions, your nervous system theory, all part of the same energetic field. And as a Libra, your sensitivity to imbalance can either be your gift or your greatest drain. Try adding zinc and vitamin B12 to support clarity and resilience. Limit caffeine after 2 p.m. so your nervous system can settle into deeper rest. A light 15-minute morning walk or stretch can reset your energy field before the day begins. And don't forget the power of breath. Slow, conscious breath is your anchor when everything feels like it's moving too fast. Small shifts create major momentum. These aren't just wellness tips, theories, spiritual practices. They remind your body that safety is available. And when your body feels safe, your heart can open wider to receive. That's how financial doors swing open. That's how real partnerships align. That's how your sense of mission becomes magnetic. So Libra, if something inside you has been whispering that you were made for more, it's not ego. It's memory. The memory of your higher self reminding you that you're not here to blend in. You're here to live fully, love boldly, and move forward with confidence that this life wants to bless you. Comment below, "I am ready to live my full potential." Let this be your vow to yourself. Because this time, the door that opens doesn't lead back, it leads beyond. And every part of you is finally ready to walk through it. Libra, take a deep breath with me. Feel that quiet hum in your chest? That's not anxiety, it's recognition. It's your soul remembering that this message was never about predicting your future. It was about awakening your courage to shape it. You've walked through endings, faced the discomfort of letting go, and now you stand right here with the one-way ticket in your hand. It's been there all along, tucked within every sleepless night, every whisper of, there must be more. The universe has simply been waiting for the moment you were brave enough to claim it. But here's the truth, and it's important: you can't stay where you are and reach where you're meant to go. Every cycle of comfort is also a cycle of limitation. That's why this message didn't come to you by coincidence. It came because something within you, call it divine timing, intuition, or faith, has been preparing you for this moment of decision. The portal is open, but it won't stay that way forever. Some opportunities are eternal, others are invitations with an expiration date. If you don't walk through it now, the energy will close, and you may find yourself waiting years for another opening of this magnitude. So ask yourself, are you ready to stop surviving and start living? Are you willing to follow the call of your own destiny, even if no one claps for you? Can you trust that what's leaving your life isn't punishment, it's preparation? I know it's terrifying to walk alone. But remember, you're never truly alone. Every step you take toward your purpose is echoed by unseen hands guiding and supporting you. When the old world begins to crumble beneath your feet, it's only because the new one is ready to rise beneath your wings. There's a passage I often return to when I see this kind of transformation unfold: Isaiah 43:19. Behold, I am doing a new thing. I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Whether or not you hold faith in Scripture, those words speak to a universal law: the truth that renewal requires release, that miracles don't bloom in comfort zones. And Libra, this new thing God, the universe, or whatever name you give to the divine, is crafting for you. It's already in motion. The only thing left is your yes. Now close your eyes for a moment and imagine your new chapter. What does it smell like? Who are you there? How do you feel waking up in that life? Let that image expand in your mind until it feels more real than the past you're leaving behind. That is the vibration you must hold. That is the magnet that calls destiny closer. And when fear tries to speak louder, remember it's just your old self negotiating for relevance. Smile at it, thank it, and keep walking forward. Libra, you are not a bystander in your own story. You are the author. You are the architect of your own realignment. So today, right here, right now, I invite you to claim it. Comment below, I accept my one-way ticket to destiny. Write it, feel it, declare it. Say it as a promise to your future self who's already living the life you're dreaming of. And when you do, know that something shifts in the unseen, the energy rearranges, aligning every blessing to meet you halfway. Before you go, I just want to say thank you. Truly. Thank you for allowing me to walk beside you on this journey, even for a few minutes. Every like, every comment, every share you give doesn't just support this channel, it fuels this sacred circle of transformation that we call Zodiac Whisper Tarot. Your energy is part of this movement, part of this unfolding. So if this message resonated with your heart, don't leave quietly. Subscribe, stay connected, and share this with someone else who might be standing at their own crossroads. You never know whose light your courage will ignite. Libra, the train has arrived. The whistle's blowing softly in the distance, calling your name. This is your moment. Will you step forward or stay on the platform and watch destiny pass you by? The choice, as always, is yours. But something tells me you already know the answer.